In the distant reaches of the galaxy, where stars twinkled like diamonds against the velvet blackness of space, the planet of Xylonia was known for its breathtaking landscapes and ancient magic. It was here that Princess Lyra, a warrior with a heart as fierce as her spirit, ruled over her people with wisdom and justice. Her kingdom, nestled between towering mountains and vast oceans, was a beacon of peace in a universe often torn by conflict. One day, a distress signal echoed through the cosmos, reaching the ears of those who dwelled in the shadows. Among them was a young man named Kale, a skilled but reclusive warrior who had long abandoned the world of battle. Kale's past was shrouded in mystery, his name whispered in awe by those who knew of his prowess. Yet, he had chosen a life of solitude, far from the wars that once defined him. The distress signal, however, stirred something within Kale. It was a call from a planet on the brink of destruction, its inhabitants facing annihilation at the hands of an alien horde. Without hesitation, Kale set out to answer the call, his ship slicing through the void like a ghostly arrow. As he approached the besieged planet, Kale's ship was intercepted by a fleet of Xyloxian vessels, led by none other than Princess Lyra herself. Her ship, adorned with the emblem of her royal lineage, was a marvel of technology and magic, a testament to the ingenuity of her people. Lyra, with her raven hair and eyes that shone like the stars, was not just a princess. She was a commander, feared and respected by her enemies and allies alike. The initial encounter between Kale and Lyra was tense, each sizing the other up with a mixture of curiosity and caution. Kale, with his rugged appearance and silent demeanor, seemed an unlikely hero, while Lyra, with her regal bearing and fierce determination, was every inch the warrior princess. Yet, as they stood face to face, something unspoken passed between them. A spark of understanding, perhaps, or a glimmer of mutual respect. Their meeting was brief, for the battle ahead would not wait. The alien horde, known as the Shadowborn, was relentless in its assault. These creatures were not just mindless beasts. They were beings of dark energy, forged from the very shadows themselves. Their presence seemed to draw the light out of the universe, leaving only an endless, chilling darkness in their wake. As Kale and Lyra joined forces, their differences became the foundation of a formidable partnership. Kale's battle-hardened skills complemented Lyra's magical prowess, creating a synergy that proved devastating to their enemies. Together, they fought through the night, their blades and spells weaving a dance of death among the Shadowborn. But amidst the chaos of battle, something unexpected blossomed. Lyra, who had always put duty above personal desire, found herself drawn to Kale's quiet strength and unwavering loyalty. Kale, too, felt an unshakable bond forming between them, a connection that went beyond mere camaraderie. As the night wore on, and the Shadowborn began to falter, Lyra and Kale found themselves standing back to back, their weapons raised against a final, desperate assault. It was then, in the heat of battle, that Lyra realized her feelings for Kale went far beyond gratitude or admiration. She saw in him not just a warrior, but a champion, one who had unwittingly become her protector and her heart's desire. The battle ended with the Shadowborn vanquished, their dark forms dissipating into nothingness as the first light of dawn touched the horizon. Lyra and Kale stood victorious, their bond forged in the fire of combat. Yet, as they turned to face each other, Lyra's heart skipped a beat. For in Kale's eyes, she saw a reflection of her own feelings, a love that had been forged in the very heart of battle. Their journey was far from over. The universe held many secrets, and their path would be fraught with danger. But for now, in this moment of triumph, Lyra and Kale knew that they stood together, united not just as allies, but as two souls bound by a love that would endure through the trials to come. As they walked away from the battlefield, side by side, the stars above seemed to twinkle in approval, for in a universe filled with conflict and uncertainty, Lyra and Kale had found something truly rare, a love that would be their guiding light through the darkness. As the days passed, Lyra and Kale grew closer, their bond strengthened by the shared experiences of battle. They spent their evenings walking through the gardens of the palace, discussing everything from the intricacies of magic to the mysteries of the cosmos. Lyra found herself opening up to Kale in ways she never thought possible, sharing stories of her childhood and her dreams for the future of Zylonia. Kale, too, began to reveal more of himself. He spoke of his past, of the wars he had fought and the losses he had endured. Lyra listened with compassion, her heart aching for the pain he had suffered. Yet, even as she learned more about his troubled history, she saw in him a resilience and strength that inspired her. Their relationship blossomed under the watchful eyes of Lyra's people, who saw in Kale a hero worthy of their princess. The Zyloxians, known for their fierce loyalty, welcomed Kale with open arms, celebrating his bravery and his unwavering dedication to Lyra. But not everyone was pleased with the growing closeness between Lyra and Kale. In the shadows, a figure watched with growing unease. This was Lord Aaron, a powerful noble who had long sought to marry Lyra and claim the throne of Zylonia for himself. Aaron was cunning and ruthless, using every tool at his disposal to undermine Kale's influence and turn Lyra against him. As tensions rose, Lyra found herself caught between her duty to her kingdom and her love for Kale. She knew that marrying a commoner would be seen as a betrayal by many of her nobles, who believed that she should wed someone of equal status to secure alliances and strengthen the kingdom. Kale, sensing Lyra's turmoil, made a decision that would change the course of their lives forever. He proposed a challenge to Lord Aaron, a duel to prove his worth as Lyra's champion. The duel would be held in the ancient arena of Zylonia, a place where warriors had fought for honor and glory for centuries. The day of the duel arrived, and the arena was filled with spectators from all corners of the kingdom. Lyra, her heart heavy with worry, watched as Kale and Aaron faced each other. The air was tense with anticipation, the outcome hanging precariously in the balance. The duel began, and the two warriors clashed in a flurry of steel and magic. Kale's skills were matched by Aaron's cunning, each blow landing with precision and power. But as the fight wore on, it became clear that Kale was not just fighting for his right to be with Lyra. He was fighting for the future of Zylonia itself. In the end, it was Kale who emerged victorious, his sword raised high as Aaron lay defeated at his feet. The crowd erupted in cheers, hailing Kale as a hero. Lyra, her eyes shining with tears, rushed to his side, embracing him with all the love in her heart. Their love had been forged in battle, but it was in this moment, surrounded by the cheers of her people, that Lyra knew she would never let Kale go. She would marry him, not for duty or status, but for the love they shared. A love strong enough to conquer all obstacles. And so, in a grand ceremony, Lyra and Kale were wed. The kingdom celebrated long into the night, their joy echoing across the stars. As they danced under the moonlight, Lyra leaned into Kale, her voice barely above a whisper. "I'm glad you answered that distress signal," she said, her eyes sparkling with happiness. Kale smiled, his heart full of love for the woman by his side. "I'm glad too," he replied, "for it led me to you." Together, they ruled Zylonia with wisdom and courage, their love a beacon of hope in a universe filled with darkness. And though challenges lay ahead, Lyra and Kale faced them side by side, their bond unbreakable, their love a flame that would burn bright for eternity. Years passed, and Lyra and Kale's reign became a golden age for Zylonia. They worked tirelessly to strengthen their kingdom, fostering alliances with neighboring planets and promoting peace throughout the galaxy. Lyra's magical abilities, combined with Kale's strategic mind, made them a formidable team, respected and admired by all who knew them. Their love continued to grow, a flame that burned brighter with each passing day. They had 2 children, a boy and a girl, who inherited their parents' courage and wisdom. The prince, named Arden, was a skilled warrior like his father, while the princess, named Arya, possessed her mother's magical talents. As their children grew, Lyra and Kale began to think about the future of their kingdom. They knew that one day, they would have to pass the throne to Arden, but they also wanted to ensure that Arya had a role to play in the governance of Zylonia. They decided to establish a new tradition, where the throne would be shared between siblings, allowing both to contribute their unique skills to the kingdom. But not all was peaceful in the galaxy. A new threat emerged in the form of the Shadowborn's return. These dark creatures had regrouped and were now more powerful than ever, driven by a singular desire to destroy all that was good in the universe. Lyra and Kale knew they had to act swiftly. They gathered their allies and formed a coalition to face the Shadowborn. The battle was fierce, with both sides suffering heavy losses. Yet, Lyra and Kale's leadership and their children's bravery turned the tide of the war. In a final, desperate bid to defeat the Shadowborn, Lyra and Kale devised a plan to harness the power of Xylonia's ancient magic. They would perform a ritual that would channel the planet's energy into a blast of pure light, capable of banishing the Shadowborn back into the depths of space. The ritual was perilous, requiring Lyra to tap into the deepest reserves of her magic. Kale stood by her side, his sword at the ready, prepared to defend her against any danger that might arise. Arden and Arya joined them, their combined strength and magic amplifying the ritual's power. As they began the ritual, the air around them began to shimmer with energy. The Shadowborn, sensing their plan, launched a final assault. But Lyra, Kale, Arden, and Arya stood firm, their bond and determination unbreakable. The ritual reached its climax, and a blast of light, unlike anything seen before, erupted from Xylonia. It enveloped the Shadowborn, banishing them from the galaxy once and for all. The universe was finally free from their terror, thanks to the bravery and love of Lyra and Kale's family. In the aftermath of the battle, Lyra and Kale were hailed as heroes. Their love had not only saved their kingdom but had also brought peace to the galaxy. They ruled Xylonia for many more years, their legacy a testament to the power of love and courage in the face of adversity. As they grew older, Lyra and Kale passed on their wisdom to their children, ensuring that the next generation would continue their work. Arden and Arya became great leaders in their own right, ruling Xylonia with the same wisdom and justice that their parents had shown. And Lyra and Kale, their love still burning bright, lived out their days surrounded by their family and the people they had protected for so long. They knew that their story would be remembered for generations to come. A tale of a princess and her unwitting champion, whose love had forged a legend that would endure through eternity. In the end, Lyra and Kale's love became a beacon of hope, inspiring countless others to stand against darkness and fight for what is right. Their legacy lived on, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, love and courage can conquer all. As the years went by, Lyra and Kale's children grew into powerful leaders, each contributing their unique talents to the governance of Xylonia. Arden, with his strategic mind, expanded the kingdom's borders through wise diplomacy and strategic alliances. Arya, with her magical prowess, delved deep into the mysteries of Xylonia's ancient magic, uncovering secrets that had been lost for centuries. Together, they ensured that Xylonia remained a beacon of peace and prosperity in the galaxy. The kingdom flourished under their rule, becoming a haven for those seeking refuge from the conflicts that still plagued other parts of the universe. Lyra and Kale watched with pride as their children grew into their roles. They knew that their time on the throne was coming to an end, but they were content in the knowledge that they had left behind a legacy that would endure. One day, as they sat on the balcony of their palace, watching the stars twinkle to life in the evening sky, Lyra turned to Kale with a thoughtful expression. "Do you remember the day we first met?" she asked, her voice filled with nostalgia. Kale smiled, his eyes clouding over with memories. "How could I forget?" he replied. "You were commanding your fleet, and I was just a lone warrior answering a distress signal. Who would have thought that our paths would cross in such a way?" Lyra nodded, her eyes sparkling with tears. "I'm glad they did," she said softly. "For without that moment, our lives would have been very different." Kale reached out, taking Lyra's hand in his. "I am glad too," he whispered, "for I found not just a queen, but a partner, a friend, and a love that has been my guiding light through all these years." As they sat there, holding hands and reminiscing about their past, a strange energy began to build around them. It was as if the universe itself was responding to their love, acknowledging the impact they had had on the galaxy. Suddenly, a brilliant light enveloped them, and Lyra and Kale felt themselves being lifted out of their bodies. They found themselves floating in a realm beyond time and space, surrounded by stars and galaxies they had never seen before. A figure appeared before them, an ancient being who claimed to be a guardian of the cosmos. "You have been chosen," the being said, its voice like thunder in their minds. "Your love has been a beacon of hope in a universe often filled with darkness. As a reward, you will be given a gift, a chance to explore the cosmos together, to see wonders beyond your wildest dreams." And with that, Lyra and Kale embarked on a new journey, traveling through the galaxies, witnessing marvels that few had ever seen. They walked among stars, danced on the surface of moons, and explored the mysteries of black holes. Their love remained strong, a constant in a universe of endless change. And as they traveled, they left behind a trail of hope and inspiration, reminding all they met that love and courage can conquer even the most daunting challenges. Years turned into centuries, and their legend grew. Lyra and Kale became mythic figures, symbols of a love that transcended time and space. And though they eventually returned to Zylonia, their spirits remained free, roaming the cosmos, spreading their message of hope and love to all corners of the universe. In the end, Lyra and Kale's story became a legend, told and retold across the galaxies. It was a reminder that even in the darkest of times, love can be a guiding light, leading us through the shadows and into the brilliance of a brighter future. As the centuries passed, Lyra and Kale's legend only grew. They became known as the star-crossed lovers of Zylonia, a symbol of enduring love that had changed the course of history. Their story was told in whispers around campfires, in grand ballads sung by traveling minstrels, and in ancient texts studied by scholars. But as time went on, Lyra and Kale began to feel the weight of their years. They knew that their time in the physical world was drawing to a close, and they were at peace with it, for they had lived a life filled with adventure, love, and purpose. One day, as they stood on the balcony of their palace, looking out at the stars they had explored together, Lyra turned to Kale with a gentle smile. "It is time," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. Kale nodded, his eyes filled with tears. "I am ready," he replied, "for I have no regrets, and I am grateful for every moment we have shared." Together, they walked to the heart of the palace, where a beautiful garden bloomed under the light of the stars. In the center of the garden was a magnificent tree, its branches reaching towards the sky like arms embracing the heavens. Lyra and Kale approached the tree, their hands entwined. As they reached its base, a soft glow enveloped them, and they felt their spirits begin to merge with the tree's ancient energy. Their bodies began to fade, becoming one with the tree and the universe itself. But their love remained, a beacon of light that would shine forever, guiding others through the darkness. And so, Lyra and Kale's story came to an end, but their legacy lived on. The tree, now known as the Tree of Eternal Love, became a sacred site, visited by pilgrims from across the galaxy. They would come to pay homage to the star-crossed lovers who had shown them that even in the vast expanse of space, love can be a guiding force that transcends time and mortality. As the ages passed, the tree grew stronger, its roots deepening into the heart of Zylonia. And in its branches, Lyra and Kale's spirits continued to dance, their love a celestial music that echoed through the cosmos, reminding all who heard it that true love can conquer even the boundaries of time and space. In the end, Lyra and Kale's love story became a legend that would be told for eternity, a testament to the power of love to transform lives, to inspire hope, and to leave behind a legacy that would shine like a star in the darkness of the universe. And so, their tale came full circle, a reminder to all who heard it that love, in its purest form, is eternal, and that even as the stars themselves may fade, the love that Lyra and Kale shared would endure forever, a beacon of hope in the vast and wondrous universe.